welcome to a new episode of Filmo Linguistics. In today's episode, we're going to talk about vague language. And what do we mean by vague language? Scott Thornberry, in his wonderful book, An A to Z of VLT, defines vague language as a common feature of a spoken language that performs an important interpersonal function, allowing speakers to avoid either committing themselves to a proposal or sounding too assertive. In simple words, you're trying to avoid being specific about something, right? For example, when you say, I'm sort of tired, using the vague adverbial sort of, this makes the listener unsure about the exact level of tiredness. So sort of goes under the umbrella of vague language. There are so many vagueness devices and they can be used for different speaking purposes. Now, one of these purposes is expressing vague quantities. And for this we have so many well-known devices like loads of, a lot of, a bit of, some, several, a few, etc. But for sure, we're not here to discuss the well-known ones. We're here to discuss more special vagueness devices. Right, so let's start with this informal one, which is zillion. Right, and according to Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English, zillion refers to a very large number of things. And of course, it's a vague device, as we do not know the exact number. Now, let's check this example taken from the movie Uncle P that was released in 2007. Miller is your uncle, then how come you're not rich? Everybody knows he's got like $1 zillion. Another example from the year 2016 and the movie Central Intelligence. It was the best senior prank ever. I still get emails about it, and if I'd had one of these bad boys back then, I would have shot it, uploaded it, and it would have gone crazy viral. 1 zillion hits. Know what? So, Now, let's listen to some native speakers using the vagueness device zillion in different contexts. Let's go.
My view is that while reasonable people think both presidents overreached, they are a zillion miles, thank goodness, away from the emperor.
On whether mutual funds, on average, beat their benchmarks, and after you account for their fees, they don't. That was in the 60s. It's been updated a zillion times. And, you can quibble about exactly how to do it, but that's approximately true.
Every other store in the history of time has said, we've got 1 zillion of these things. Our inventory is bigger than anything. Costco is like, no. If you don't buy it like today, next time you come back, you'll be sorely disappointed and you'll hate yourself, and your wife or husband will say, you idiot, we could have bought the Christmas decorations or whatever.
I guess the short answer to your question, Miller diverges from the actual records in a zillion ways. Whatever you think of The Crucible, it's a play, it's not history.
The boy is getting there. We've done like 2 rounds on him.
Scott's been working on characters in the morning. He's been kind of splitting his time with a book that he's working on, or an art show, or one of the zillion things that he does. He's very busy.
Another vagueness device is somewhere in the region, and it means approximately, more or less, something that is not definite again. Let's see some examples from movies on how to use this lovely expression. And the movie Bad Company, released in 2002. Well, we were thinking somewhere in the region of, let's say, $25,000. Another example from the movie Prime Suspect, released in 1995. Any idea how much they paid for it? Somewhere in the region of 300,000. Now let's listen to some native speakers using this expression. Let's go.
Only around 7% of independent British films are therefore able to recoup their costs. And perhaps as an example, Rufus Norris's first independent film cost somewhere in the region of £2 to £3 million.
Britain was ruling over roughly 175 million people. At its absolute peak, just after the First World War, the empire contained somewhere in the region of 450 million imperial subjects.
The Scottish Trust has acquired somewhere in the region of £2.5 million worth of shares in Portsmouth Football Club. What we're now looking at is trying to enhance other things that are important to the long-term future of this football club.
And they are giving this away. We're adding to this with our suite of tuning courses. So a price package there, somewhere in the region of about $3,000 US.
In a typical year, we will spend somewhere in the region of £40 million. That's on things that prevent landslides or improve the resilience of our infrastructure to extreme weather.
Now, another vague device is the suffix ish. And this suffix can mean quite like when you say something like, she's got reddish hair, he's youngish, not very young, but not old either. Not only this, but the suffix ish can also mean approximately, like when you say, let's meet at 5-ish, which is around 5 o'clock. So, let's see some examples from movies. And the movie released in 2013, Our Man in Tehran. When we arrived, we were introduced to John's wife, Zena, and to this youngish-looking guy named King Tyler, who I assumed was John's assistant. Now, the year 1996, and the movie brassed off. What time do they announce result? About 5-ish or summit, I think. Now, someone might say, Shadi, what does the word summit mean? My friends, funny enough, this is another vague device, and it's a spoken pronoun used mainly in Northern England, and it means something. Right. Now, let's see some native speakers using the suffix ish.
I'm going to put them in at 400 degrees for who knows how long. We'll find out. Look at them! First of all, I baked them at 400 for like 15-ish minutes. Are you joking? How stinking cute is that? I think they're going to be fantastic.
Where are they? How many of them are there? And what are they doing? In advance of Gaugamela, the answers were Gaugamela, about 100,000-ish, and they're planning to envelop you.
Probably a needle in a haystack. Look at this. Especially a snake that's grayish black in color. Talk about crazy camo.
First one I did a review for, so I'll leave that up in the card symbol if you want to check it out, but it follows a guy named Antsy, and then each book he tackles something different. So in the first book, he meets a kid that's invisible-ish, and he's trying to figure out what that's all about.
They were rebelling against the 19th century at its most stuffy and rule master-ish.
You sort of like click into like that, maybe a product detail page or a product category page. That sort of feels modern-ish, you know, it's like sort of a little bit more meat and potatoes, like e-commerce stuff. So it's like those templates sort of probably feel pretty good.
Or they say it's a middle path, it's somewhere between the two. And a middle path in 2 dimensions is like a rounded rectangle where you kind of do something that's a little bit circlish and a little bit rectanglish, which isn't even any true part of what a cylinder is.
Historically, the shorts have not been as good as the longs, so I'm really focused on, where are some commodity longs? Where are my longs? So there's maybe the base metals are strongish. We rode the palladium.
One more interesting vagueness device is the word malarkey. And this word refers to things which you think are silly or untrue. It's an informal word. And now an example from the movie Dead Man, released in 1995. You know I've had it up to here with this Indian malarkey. I haven't understood a single word you've said since I met you. Not one single word. Now, the movie High Sierra from the year 1941. I like little part here as much as you do. But remember what Algernon said about him being bad luck. That's a lot of malarkey. Maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. Now, more examples from native speakers. Let's go.
Akil Amar and I debated on this subject. This idea of these two lanes of strict constructionists, textualists, and living constitutionalists, that's malarkey, to quote Joe Biden, right? I mean, that has always been malarkey.
The opposition who somehow views this as, and you're going to hear all kinds of arguments. You're going to hear all kinds of arguments. Where you're going to experiment with the military. You're going to make that. It's malarkey. This is totally within our wheelhouse to do this. Everyone's right being protected, including innocent bystanders.
Right, I hope for some of you guys seeing here, this plumbing, good malarkey, sometimes isn't easy, and that was very difficult for us to get off.
In another video designed to help grow your business. I've got the hump really now. I've had enough of this lockdown malarkey. As we try and save lives, I question, are we actually saving lives?
And what he said didn't happen just then. And human nature says, oh, that was just a bunch of malarkey.
They had around not just a box that wasn't a contained game, but also you need peripheral stuff like miniatures and magazines and supplements. And it was just too much of a malarkey for them, so we decided to open our own shops.
Another wonderful phrase that is used as a vagueness device is "and the like." And it simply means "and similar things." Now an example from the movie Ancient Aliens Debunked, released in 2012. Actually concede that something out of the ordinary could have occurred in the ancient past, and that there are certain consistent themes in ancient mythologies and the like that require good explanations. But I think that you will quickly see that the ancient astronaut theories do not explain this evidence. One more example from the movie Hansel versus Gretel, year 2015. Some channel energies that are so powerful that it overcomes them, so they get greedy, but others, they intentionally choose a dark path and basically become skin suits for demons and the like. Now let's see some native speakers using this vagueness device.
This is me. You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it all started about 6 years ago. I had started to make a hobby of filming myself in the kitchen, food from movies and the like. And before I knew it, I was up to my eyeballs with requests to stuff a turkey with pizza, deep fry it, and dip it in chocolate.
But remember, we learned that there's a whole other cast of characters that appears throughout the Bible and plays a really important role.
Right, spiritual beings, angels, demons, and the like.
Though there would be many to follow, from Sherrington through Pavlov, all of them completely alienated from notions of soul, imagination, and the like.
And we know that a lot of these behaviors and traits do have genetic correspondences, or that there are genes that affect how learning goes, memory abilities, reading abilities, and the like.
There's some changes in the allocation of taxation here in the state that would further boost business, that boosts jobs and pay raises and the like.
Of his family tree that are among the absolute leaders around the world in organizational studies, in business schools and companies and consulting firms and the like. And you look at Herb Simon, and there's hardly anyone.
Where cities dominate your sightseeing menu, in France it's going to be castles, vineyards, hill towns, and the like, making the advantage of a car terrific.
So you see a lot, we have an offer we call collaborative journalism, where you take some ex-editorial directors, some brand strategists, some folks who come out of analytics from Huffington Post and the like, and then you look at the customer journey and their thinking, and you create thoughtful content that you might get in the past from a McKinsey quarterly BCG type, but it's around a tech company or some other B2B product, and you can bring someone sort of through that journey and track them in new ways.
And ultimately, while those issues seem to conjure up more concerns about education and safety and the like, housing is central to all of these issues.
So my friends, in today's episode, we talked about 5 vagueness devices: zillion, somewhere in the region, the ish suffix, malarkey, and the like. And remember, my friends, vagueness devices can be used to fill in the gaps in the speaker's vocabulary. So they're very effective when it comes to communication. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Filmo Linguistics. And do not forget to like, share, and comment. I will be down there in the comments responding to all your questions. Thanks, and bye-bye for now.